All right, this is a topic I'm really passionate about, which is how do we track progress when people are doing brain training with neurofeedback? And so it's a common question I get. People, because there are different neurofeedback systems out there, and some of them use objective data with printouts to show you your progress. But in my practice, in my program, the tool that I use the most is this checklist. It's a self-reporting tool where you fill it out before your first session and once a month. And you rate all sorts of symptoms and issues on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being no problem, 10 being severe problem. And because brain training with neurofeedback is really working on that automatic functioning brain, so that's not our prefrontal cortex, willful, conscious brain. This is more primitive brain structures that work on autopilot. And so you are going to have things change that you're not totally aware of, and you're not going to be aware of the extent of the change. And the whole point of this tool is to help capture all the things that are shifting and help build your own self-awareness of what shifts over time. And some of the items on this list are also issues that might get in the way of good training. So if we're not seeing the extent of progress we would expect or the timing, I go through this checklist and I look for certain things to see if there are some issues that might get in the way. So you will see we have a big section about sleep. Sleep is something that often re-regulates when you do neurofeedback. It also helps me understand to the extent to which you're under stress. And then also breathing, that helps you know if you're more in sympathetic or parasympathetic nervous system. And here you'll see there's a few on the gut, right? Our second brain. So if you have a lot of gut issues, that can impact cognitive functioning, mood regulation. So really important to capture that information. A few questions about hormones, if this applies, and just like body pains and aches, really important to know about. And then some issues in terms of headaches, memory. And then our second page on the left side here, because executive functioning issues, ability to focus, control our impulses, right? Those are big issues and often reasons why people do neurofeedback. So really important to capture the nuances that you might not notice and be able to rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. So this is executive functioning, school learning issues, work. And then we have some at the bottom here are ways that we try to self-regulate as adults or teenagers. So questions about alcohol, pot use, cigarettes, sugar consumption, caffeine, overspending, things that either in the realm of addiction or just in the realm of the things we try to use to de-stress. And one of the things that I notice when people do the brain training, often somewhere around the end of the second month, they'll comment that if they do overuse substances to regulate their nervous system and de-stress, they'll report that they're not doing it as much, or it's easier to say no to it, especially if it's a goal of theirs. And then lastly, this right column is all about emotions, emotional regulation. Really important to understand if you have, any trauma in your history, how you've been with your mood. And again, because this training is showing that automatic functioning brain everything that it's doing, and that brain, when it sees maladaptive patterns, it's going to go to work to shift them, because that's the way the brain is designed. And so what you're going to notice is often in hindsight, right? So if someone cuts you off in traffic and you normally, go into anger, you might notice after you've been doing the brain training of like, oh, wow, I didn't lose it on that guy and swear at him. I just felt frustrated and took a deep breath. And so some of the things on here you're going to be very, focused on, and some of the things aren't going to be big issues for you. But again, because we're training the entire brain, you might have things shift that weren't even issues for you, but they just improve because the brain has the opportunity through the feedback to improve itself. And so again, we're capturing all the things that might change. So please, if you're going to do brain training with us, fill out your checklist once a month. It's a really great practice, because often what happens is that after the first month and we check in with someone, they'll say yeah, I'm feeling better, but I'm not sure if it's a neurofeedback or because I'm sleeping better or ... And that's when we have them fill out another checklist. And then we pull out the first checklist and we give them the opportunity to see the shifts that are happening. And some of those 10s become 6s. And those are real aha moments for people, because one of the things the brain does as an adaptive feature is it forgets pain. And so people will say wow, I totally forgot how exhausted I was. And yeah, I'm feeling better, when they see that under exhaustion, they're now 6 and they used to be a 10. So it sparks that self-awareness. And that's really a key feature of our training program, is that we want people to be aware. We want them to know when they're dysregulated, when they're regulated. And this tool really helps with not only seeing what's changing, but also facilitating self-awareness. So if you have any questions, please reach out. We love to have dialogue and understand your needs. And so good luck with your brain training.